God fulfills His purpose for me. Psalms chapter 57 and verse 2. I cried out to God Most High, to God who will fulfill His purpose for me. With all the pressure that David was going through, he knew it was God who wanted him to be anointed as king. However, before even he could get there, he had to go through so much of tormenting experiences. He was well aware that it was God who permitted him to undergo such pain, since God was going to fulfill His purpose for David. David had no doubts about it. Nevertheless, the pain of suffering was real. Running for life was unpleasant. David, in sorrow and agony, could think of nothing but cry out to God for help and exalt Him among the assembly. He openly declared that the unfailing love of God was as high as the heavens, and His faithfulness reaches to the skies. David was not hesitant to honor God despite his unbearable situation of life. I'm sure sometimes for those who trust God to fulfill His purpose in their life go through similar ordeals and sometimes become vexed over it. It happened to me as I moved to the United States. The Lord promised me that He will use me for His glory. He specifically spoke through John chapter 4 before I left India about community transformation. But the irony was, I was stuck in an apartment and didn't find any ministry for such a lofty promise. I didn't know any Americans as God promised. The few I knew were people from the church I served as a volunteer. They were Indians too. As I prayed and waited for the Lord's intervention, despite so many hardships, God put me in a town where our family is the only non-American family living among them. It is amazing to know how the Lord is leading me one step at a time towards what He promised. All I had to do is to trust and wait, because He never fails on His promises. He is the waymaker and a promise keeper. God fulfills His purpose for me. Amen.